I've got a fish! So here I am, back at the mark where I filmed Monsters of the Menai, a place on the Menai Straits in Anglesey. Stunning little mark this. It's a low water mark. I'm going to be fishing off that sandbank, wading out a bit, putting 2 rods in the channel. I've fished here twice before. First time, me and Mike had decent bullos. Second time, I was here with the Mersey Motley crew on YouTube, and they had some cracking bullos as well. And we've had smoothies and the usual, the dogfish. But yeah, we're here now. The wind and the rain has been terrible all morning, so I will apologise for any wind. But we're going to get the rods out. We're going to be fishing crab on one with a single hook, and we're going to be fishing squid and fish baits on the other with a double pennel hook. We're going to be fishing from now till low water, which is in 2 hours time, then an hour back up. So I'm going to go and get the gear out the van, get my waders on, and I'll see you when I'm on that sandbar. Well, from the first cast, as soon as I reeled it in, I could tell this was going to be an absolute nightmare session. I stopped in my caravan just round the corner yesterday, about a mile or 2 up the road from here, and the amount of rain we had all through the night and wind, I just knew there was going to be a lot of weed drifting up and down the Menai after the little storm we had. So the first rod was completely weeded out, and as you can see now, I brought the second rod in, and weed all over the hook, weed all over the lead, and the weed was simply covering the bait within seconds before any fish could get near it. So straight away, I knew I was up against it. And I thought to myself, I'm here now, I've got all the gear out. So what I'm going to do is fish the 3 hours, what I've got on the mark, as hard as possible. Rebaiting and changing as often as was needed. Now keep your eye on the tip of the right rod. I was having loads of these little slackliners and drop backs. I later put it down to weed, hitting the line and pinging off. There's nothing on there, there was no signs of crabs at this stage, but the weed was literally pinging off the line, and you can see again now on the right rod again. And this was just relentless, these little dings over the rod tip and then slacklining, typical indication of weed catching up on the line. Then as it releases itself from the line, you get the little drop back. You know, the weed was covering the hook baits within minutes of them hitting the water, so the fish just had no chance at all. And it was getting me up and down. I was like, could it be crabs? Couldn't it? And it was just a nightmare. Anybody who fishes, when you had these type of sessions, you really should go home. But I just wanted to fish through it. I was fishing hard. I had the bait there. So I was constantly putting the rods in and out and rechanging every 2 minutes. I got through so much bait. It's unbelievable. I must have got through about 4 packs of squid and about 15 to 20 peeler crabs. It was just relentless. It was absolutely relentless. And then this happened. Well, that could have been what the bites was, but there's also weed there, so yeah, having a bit of a nightmare, to be honest. It's all weed and all crab. This is why you shouldn't fish after the storm, because the weed up and down here is horrendous. But I'm going to have another hour, and if nothing else happens, at least nobody will be as stupid as me and come out after all the wind and rain, because the Menai at the moment is just full of weed and it's wiping things out. I really thought that was a fish then. It did a few nods, which, as I say, is the weed bouncing into the line. It's an absolute nightmare. After we had a lot of wind and a lot of rain last night, and what it does, these estuary type waters, it's a no-no. But I'm going to give it another hour, and if I don't catch nothing and this keeps happening, at least I'm raising awareness. Don't fish after a storm. It's turning black above me now. I'm going to stay for another hour because I'm a believer of effort equals reward, so we're going to try. I'm getting weeded out nearly every time. If I can just show you where I've been fishing. If you look all up the beach where I've been fishing, all this has been pulled off my hook. It goes all the way up from where I started. Look, the beach is pretty clear. On the other bits where I've been fishing, it's just been pulled off and pulled off and pulled off. So I'm having a nightmare. The crabs and the weed alone are messing my head up. I don't think I've had a proper bite. I think all these little dings and bumps are just weed it in the line, or crabs. Really, I should go home. I should really go home or to the pub or McDonald's or something. But yeah, I'm going to give it another hour, because if I can catch a whiting or a dogfish now, it'll be a result, put it that way. And yep, that's an indication of weed again. See, I am getting little knocks and little nudges now, but I'm almost certain the crab's all weed. There's nothing really pulled it. The little touches, and having pulled the crab in about that big, I'm guessing it's that. If the weed's not taking it out, the crabs are smashing it. But as I say, I'm gonna put 110% effort in. It's about 20 minutes off slack water, so I reckon when slack water comes, fingers crossed that the weed situation might diffuse then, obviously, because the current won't be as good. But it's just hard work. I've used so much bait. Like pulling weed up from 100 yards out, like every cast I can feel it. It's hard work. I'm giving it 100% now. As I say, a dogfish would do now. I would take a dogfish any day, or a whiting. I actually think that was a bite on the left rod then, because it was more tappy. It wasn't like every weed, it was like tap tap. The problem I've got now though, obviously the water's started to flood now, and it's not going to be long until this backfills behind me. Probably got another 20 minutes, half hour of fishing, I think. But that could have been my first bite then. Literally, as I've not got long left. So yeah, we'll just see how this unfolds. I got a fish! I cannot tell you how rewarding this fish was. 3 hours of pulling in nothing but weed every 5 minutes. This has got to deserve a sub just for sheer effort and determination. I am telling you now, this is the most earned dogfish in Wales today. Yes! Happy with that. Nothing but weeded out constantly. Every single cast, weed, weed, weed. I said it looked like a proper bite, that one. Yes! And that is awesome. That is how you catch a fish on your last cast. Go on, little fella. Off you go. Go on. That way you go. Don't try and bite me. Don't try and bite me. Off you go. Go on. Don't try and bite me. I'm trying to help you. Go on, off you go. There you go. Yes! Last cast, and it happened. Yes! You, my friend, have been the hardest earned fish in Wales today. I can tell you that. It's been nothing but weed, 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 and my little friend come right at the end. So, how about that then? Last cast success. Right, the moral of the story here is either don't give up and you'll get something, or don't fish after a storm. Don't waste £30 on bait and 3 hours fishing to get one little tiny bite to catch a dogfish. And that's just how it is. Some sessions are good, some are bad. Last time we was here, we had big bullos, we were smashing it. It's just the way the cookie crumbles. If you like this type of stuff, hit subscribe, rate, comment and all that. And I'll try and get some better fish in the next video. Peace out, people.